Hi everyone. I've been asked many times how do I get the images that I use for my photo manipulations. Well, today I'm going to show you. And I'm going to show you how to do a basic one. All you have to do is call up a web browser, go to Google, and type in a subject. Let's do like sky. Go ahead and type that in, click images, and you'll get all these images of skies. Let's go ahead and click on one, and I'll give you a preview. Go ahead and click view image, and I'll give you the actual image as it truly is on the server. Now you don't want to click website, go to web page, because that'll just give you whatever the web page it's on, and that may not be what you want. Let me show you what I mean by that. Like here, if you click visit page, or if you just click on the image itself, it'll take you to whatever the page is. See, this page is just a little thumbnail right there, and well, that's not really what we're looking for. So, go ahead and come over here and click view image. That'll bring you to the image, and this happens to be a full-size image, which is nice. So, go ahead and right-click and click save image as, and save it wherever you want. I usually put it on my desktop. Okay, now that we have that one, let's go ahead and find an airplane to put on that sky. And I'll click a nice and easy one. That looks pretty nice. Click view image, and it's a pretty big image, so that's good. The bigger the image, the better, because you can always make them smaller, you can't always make them bigger. Because as you make them bigger, they'll pixelate, and it'll just look really horrible. So you want to find large images for photo manipulations. Go ahead and save that. Alright, well, we got our images. Okay, so actually I should have done that one. Oh well. It's the artist in me coming out. Right here they are on my desktop. They actually match my wallpaper really well. But we'll go ahead and call them up in Photoshop. Just go to, we'll just call them up at first. Let's go to desktop. I know one was airplane. The other one was called blue sky, so I'm just going to go ahead and hit control and then click on blue sky, because that'll select both of them. So I clicked on airplane first, and then if you hold your control button and click on the next file that you want, it'll select that. If you push your shift key, it'll select everything. Like say, if I click on airplane 1 here, and then like say I wanted one of these files down here, if I push the shift button and click it, it'll select everything in between them, and you don't want to do that. Well, unless you do. But in this case we don't. So we'll go ahead and click airplane, push and hold the control key, and click blue sky, and that selects just those two files. Go ahead and click open. It's going to open both of those. Okay. First thing you want to do is when you get to this is going to be our background image, okay? But this isn't you don't want to edit the file that you're using. You always want to create a new document, okay? So, however, this is going to be our background, so we need to start with this. So, we'll go ahead and come up here to select, and go ahead and select all, and that selects the whole image right there. Go ahead and edit, and then copy that, because that copies whatever you had selected. Okay? Now, being we're going to make a new image, we're going to go up here to File, and then click on New. There's a bunch of keyboard shortcuts that you can do to get these two, but I don't really use keyboard shortcuts. I'm horrible doing that, because I can't remember anything. So, we're going to use a regular my desktop resolution, which is 1280 by 1024, which is the resolution of my monitor. You can use whatever resolution you want, but keep in mind, the smaller the number, the smaller the image, of course. However, the resolution right here, which is actually, they call it resolution. It's not actually a resolution. That's the pixels per inch is actually what it is, which is, well, it's labeled over here what that is. But what this is your density of the pixels. Okay, this is very important. What I like to do is I like to use 300, because that's a standard. If you do art or for production or anything like that, they want at least, well, actually some places like 200, but most places it's 300 or above. And the reason being for that is because the higher the resolution within the image, or the pixels per inch, the more you can blow it up without it pixelating and things like that. So but it's not adding pixels; it's just adding pixel density. It's kind of hard to explain, but there's much better explanations of that on the web. Just go ahead and search for that. Look up pixel density or something like that, and that'll get you started on that. But anyway, here's the resolution. Here's the pixel density. So go ahead and click OK, and that gives us our image. Now, what I like to do, come down here to I'm using Photoshop, but and these are the tools in Photoshop. I like to go to the magnifying glass and click Fit Screen. So that way there it's the full screen, and you know what you're working on. So, being we copied the sky over here, we can go ahead and paste that by going to Edit and Paste, and that'll paste that into our image. Pretty easy. Now, you may notice that put it above our background layer. That's perfectly fine. And that way there we can modify and do whatever we want to do. But being so we're going to go ahead and use this as our background layer, let's go ahead and get rid of this background layer right here. Now what I just did is I double clicked on it to unlock it. The background layer is always locked by default. And all you got to do is double click and click OK, and that'll unlock it. But we'll go ahead and throw that in the trash because we don't need it. Now, this has got information up here that I don't necessarily want. So, there's several ways you can remove it. You could come up here, take the eyedropper tool, sample the background color. That'll add it to your color selection, and then click your paintbrush and just paint over it. In this case, because it's an easy, solid color background. But what I would do, and what is more easier to do, if you had a louder background, is select your lasso tool here. Go ahead and just draw a circle around it, like that. Doesn't have to be perfect. Right-click inside that circle, go to Fill, and then Content Aware. And then your blending mode's normal and opacity at 100%. And then click OK. Now, if this was a really busy background, what that'll do is take those letters out and blend it with the background, and it works beautifully. That's how you remove watermarks. But yeah. So, I mean, this, like I said, this is a pretty standard, solid color background. So it wasn't that big of a deal. But like see here, it's got the fade. What you can do is, well, let me give you an example. Let's go ahead and put, well, no, I won't. I'll keep it simple for this one. So, let's go to our airplane. And for this, we're going to select our magic wand tool. We could do our quick selection tool, but I'm going to go ahead and use the magic wand. And we're going to go ahead and, we are going to use our quick select tool. The difference being, you'll see in a second, this is much quicker than the other one was going to be. Actually, both of them would work. Let me get back to that. The reason why it wasn't working is because it's so small. Anyway, let's just go ahead and quick select tool work. What you want to do is just kind of paint around what you want selected, just like that. Now, what you actually have selected right now is the blue space around the airplane, because that's what we selected. You could have just selected the airplane as well, but there's advantages and disadvantages to doing both. I just went ahead and selected the blue area around the airplane because it's just easier to do. But that leaves us a problem. How do we select the airplane and not the background? So what we do is we come up here, go to Select, and click Inverse. So now we have the airplane selected. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click Refine Edge. Now see, this is a trick that they don't tell you in Photoshop right off. Actually, a couple of parts didn't get in there, so I am going to add those. And to add those, I just click and drag on the parts that I want added. That looks pretty good. Go ahead and paint this. Zoom in just a tad bit. See how I didn't select it absolutely perfect, but that's okay. It doesn't really need to be at first. And I'll show you why. So if we click Refine Edge, here we'll see the airplane. Oops. As it is. Now, if we move these sliders, we can enhance the radius. See, and that actually moves our selection out of it. And we can just keep adding that until it's where we want it. That looks pretty good. Let's smooth the edges out just a tad bit. Or a lot. A lot of this is experimentation, especially for me, because, let's keep smoothing down. Contrast. Now we'll keep the contrast down too, I think. So that's just going to make it grainy. Shift the edge. Now what this will do is, say if you're missing, like for hair and stuff like that, you can shift the edge out and it'll help select those particles of hair. But being we have pretty flat surfaces, we're just going to bring that out just a tiny, tiny bit. Okay. Go ahead and click OK, and now we have our selection. Now we can just go back to Edit and copy, and go ahead and paste it into our picture. It's as simple as that. Now we have an airplane on the background. And as you can see, it is on its own separate layer. So we didn't ruin our background at any time. And so if we wanted to make changes to that, like say we wanted to change this angle, say if we didn't want it pointed up like that, we can go ahead and select it. Go ahead to transform it. And go ahead and tilt it like that. And all that is done without modifying our background. See? So, that's how you do a simple copy and paste on a composite image. And you can go through and you can mess with the lighting, because I mean the lighting's off on this dramatically. You'd want to put shadows in there. I mean, you have some on the plane already, but say you have a bright sunlight coming from this direction, you wouldn't, or maybe even down here from this direction, you wouldn't necessarily want those shadows. So I mean, that's all perspective and, art stuff that I don't really know enough to teach. I'm not an artist. I'm just simply a composite artist. So yeah, but that's the simple way of how to composite two images together. Hope you enjoyed this. Thank you. Bye-bye.